Okay, Jyoti, we are live on Facebook.
Good evening. Welcome everyone. Thank you all for finding time and visiting today's webinar. My name is Dr. Shukonna Chandro, Assistant Professor at Omdal Group of Institutions and the moderator of this webinar. Omdal Group of Institutions is one of the premier educational institutions under Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology, providing BTech courses in civil engineering, mechanical engineering, computer science engineering, electrical engineering, and B.Arch courses. The college is NAC accredited and approved by AICTE and COA. Our topic today is a guide for aspiring mechanical engineer on career choices and opportunities in a post-pandemic society, presented by the Mechanical Engineering Department of Omdal Group of Institutions. Before we start, let me explain you how you can talk to us during the webinar. If you have any questions, please write them in the chat box and we will answer them at the end of the session. The coronavirus pandemic has caused major disruptions in all sections of the society, including businesses, industries, education, affecting the general economic situation. During an economic downturn, it's especially important to be realistic and knowledgeable about your career options. Today, we are privileged to hear from Mr. Srikanta Paladi, Deputy General Manager of Toyo Engineering India Private Limited, Mr. Raman Kanti De, Teacher in charge of Mechanical Engineering Department of Omdal Group of Institutions, and Mr. Arindam Banerjee, Assistant Professor of Omdal Group of Institutions, who will share their valuable thoughts on how to deal with these issues. Now, without much ado, I will introduce you to the speakers. First, we have Mr. Srikant Paladi. Mr. Paladi is an alumnus of Jadavpur University. Currently, he is working at an internationally recognized firm, Toyo Engineering India Private Limited, as Deputy General Manager. He has worked in several exclusive and elite projects from all around the world. He has over 27 years of industrial experience. Next, we have Mr. Raman Kanti De. Mr. De did his post-graduation from IIEST Shibpur. Other than teaching, currently he is doing research on the development of standalone grid-independent solar-powered cold storage systems. His research works have been published in several reputed international journals. He has presented many technical papers in international conferences and also published a few book chapters. Presently, he is the assistant professor and teacher in charge of Department of Mechanical Engineering of Omdal Group of Institutions. We also have Mr. Arindam Banerjee, who is an alumnus of Mumbai University and a chartered engineer. He has an industrial experience of 12 years in reputed companies such as Toyo Engineering India Private Limited and Development Consultant Private Limited. Currently, he is the Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering Department of Omdal Group of Institutions. Now to Raman sir. What does mechanical engineering expect from a 12th standard pass out student? Over to sir.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Mechanical Engineering Department of Omdal Group of Institutions, I would like to welcome all the participants. Thank you, Dr. Chandra, for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts. Actually, there is a basic difference between the study at the engineering level from the higher secondary level. I think the student needs to understand that the what is the basic objective of the students at the higher secondary level and what is the basic objective of a student at the engineering level. At the higher secondary level, most of the students mainly focus upon how to score good marks in the examination. So it is all about how well they are answering the questions generally come to the examination. They do not apply their knowledge at the practical field. Whereas at the engineering level, it is more important how well a student apply his knowledge, his analytical skill to solve the practical issues. As a mechanical engineer, you may have to work in different fields, different kind of challenges will be there, different kind of problems will arise. So you have to deal with those problems with your knowledge, with your skill. So whenever you study any topic at the engineering level, it should be in such a way that you can apply that knowledge at the practical field whenever it is required. So the students need to realize that thing that only scoring good marks in the examination cannot bring you success as an engineer. So you need to change your mindset whenever you are joining any engineering discipline, whether it is mechanical or any other engineering discipline. And another important thing is that in engineering, it is not always required that all the students should be very much talented or extraordinary. It is more important that you should have knowledge and interest on the subjects at the higher secondary level, and you should have proper dedication and strong determination. Without that, you cannot do much at the engineering level, that I feel. That's all.
Thank you, sir. So we see in engineering, practical application needs to be emphasized more. Now, moving on to details, Orindam sir, if you could tell about the subjects a student needs to know properly before getting into mechanical engineering.
So thank you for giving us an opportunity, and we welcome all the students to this particular webinar. And I hope that you have a good time understanding what mechanical engineering is, and hopefully your knowledge about mechanical engineering will be a little more better than what it was before. So coming back to the question, what we understand is that when a 12th standard student who has just passed out, there are three main subjects which determine his entry point to engineering, that is physics, chemistry, and mathematics. For a mechanical engineering point of view, from a mechanical engineering point of view, it is important for the students to understand the concept of mechanics and thermodynamics, which is included in the subject physics, and also mathematics, a little bit of chemistry. However, what we study in 11th and 12th standard, these are all basic, only the basic structure of what is to be coming in mechanical engineering. So I think the two main subjects which aspiring mechanical engineer should study is physics and mathematics with a little bit of chemistry. Also, they would like in physics, there are many subdivisions. These subdivisions can occur in thermodynamics, mechanics, and various other fields. But all these concepts, all these basic concepts, they are, even if some of the concepts of the students are not cleared in 12th standard or 11th standard, in engineering courses itself, from the very beginning, the first year itself, all the basic concepts are again cleared, so that they have the proper foundation to build upon the mechanical engineering concepts on that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So with that, we come to know what are the subjects that the students need to prepare themselves and do well for admission to mechanical engineering. Now, to Raman sir, what are the subjects a student has to study after being admitted to mechanical engineering?
as Mr. Banerjee already mentioned, that physics and mathematics are very important for mechanical engineering. I also think that the physics and mathematics are the base of mechanical engineering. So after getting into mechanical engineering at the first year, again you have to study engineering physics and mathematics to make your base strong. And from the second year onwards, you will get the core mechanical engineering papers from the basic subjects to its advanced applications. You have to study from basic thermodynamics to its application in automotive engines, heat ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration and cryogenics. You have to study from basic fluid mechanics to about sophisticated hydraulic machines like pumps, turbines, compressor. You have to study from basic manufacturing processes like casting, forging, welding to advanced manufacturing process like 3D printing technology, from conventional power generation to non-conventional power generation. That means from the utilization of fossil fuels to utilization of renewable energy resources like solar energy, wind energy, ocean thermal energy, geothermal energy. The students need to know how to harness those renewable energy resources and to utilize them at the practical field to meet the need of the society. The students need to study how to design the different machine components and what is the kind of material to be used for a particular machine component. The student needs to know. Apart from that, the subjects like robotics, artificial intelligence, automation, mechatronics, and in the new syllabus, nanotechnology has been included. So there is the scope of mechanical engineering is huge. The area is huge, and it is expanding gradually in interdisciplinary nature. So there is a huge scope for the students to learn. And believe me, these subjects are very interesting because these are related to the practical field, and we find its application in our daily life. Yeah, apart from these subjects, the students need to work with the drawing softwares like AutoCAD, Creo, SolidWorks. The students need to understand how to develop CNC programming. So these things are there. Apart from these subjects, the students have to undergo multiple trainings, vocational trainings, internship during the 4 years. They need to do projects at the third year, final year. So if the students can do all these things, complete all these things, then I feel the students need not to worry about the opportunities about their future, because in mechanical engineering the scopes are huge because due to the vast development of the area from in the different sector, from the core mechanical industries like cement industry, steel industries, oil industries, power sector, cooling sector, everywhere mechanical engineers are required. So if the students can build themselves, if they can study regularly, they can build themselves as a technically sound mechanical engineer, then there will be huge scope for the students after completion of the graduation. That I feel.
I think I would like to add on this a little bit. I mean, even students can go into companies like ISRO and study aeronautics engineering also, right? I mean, the marine engineering, the scope is so vast. I mean, we cannot even list so many options are there. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So,
So this is, I mean, what we do feel is that people in mechanical engineering can actually go into so many fields. Even sir mentioned in nanotechnology, this is the forefront in basically the cutting edge of the technology right now. So I think people need to be aware of what mechanical engineers are actually doing. I mean, consider SpaceX, what SpaceX is doing, right? I mean, those are mechanical engineering who are working day in and day out to form a sort of a space dominance in the near future. Uh, anyway, thank you, ma'am. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am. Please go ahead.
I think we are back. Yes. Raman sir, if you could explain actually what are the admission criteria to mechanical engineering?
Can you please repeat the question, ma'am? Hello.
I think ma'am was asking what are the admission criteria on getting into mechanical engineering.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
So for getting admission, the students need to appear in for West Bengal Joint Entrance Examination or JEE Main, or one may appear in both. So after clearing these examinations successfully, they will get a valid rank, and if the
Hello.
student can secure 45% marks at least at the higher secondary level in aggregate in physics, mathematics with a third subject. The third subject, it may be chemistry, it may be biology or computer science,
Yes,
computer
sir.
application. If the students can fulfill this criteria, they can get admission under Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology, Makaut, which is formerly known as WBUT. So the students need to go through the centralized counseling process, which is conducted by West Bengal Joint Entrance Board every year. So that is the process the students need to follow. That is
Thanks,
the
sir.
process of
Sir, if you
admission.
thanks,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
If please explain about the government jobs that are available for the mechanical engineering graduates, and also what are the scopes of research in mechanical engineering? Raman sir, over to you.
As I already mentioned that multiple job opportunities are there for the mechanical engineers. So after completing BTech, the students may appear for the examinations conducted by West Bengal Public Service Commission every year. Many mechanical engineers are recruited in different sectors. Central government jobs are also available through Staff Selection Commission, and engineering service is there. Many public sector undertaking companies, PSUs are there, like NTPC, VAIL, IOCL. These are the core industries, core companies. They recruit mechanical engineers through GATE examination. So the students at the final year, they can appear for the GATE examination. Apart from that, some PSUs are there who conducts separate examinations for recruiting mechanical engineers. So these are the core industries, and we know it is a matter of proud for the mechanical engineers for working over there, because core industries are the backbone of any country. And many sectors like we know railways, Indian Railways, Metro Rail, in defense service, mechanical engineers are recruited. So huge job opportunities in government sector is there for the mechanical engineers. If the students can prepare themselves for this kind of examinations, then multiple opportunities will be there for you after your graduation, that I feel. And the second question, what Dr. Chandra asked, that what is the scope of research? Actually, scope for research is there in every engineering discipline, and considerable research and development works are going on across the country, across the world. That's why our society is developing. And in mechanical engineering, the area is huge. It is a vast area, so the research scope is also high. The some emerging areas are also there, like biomechanics, composites, 3D printing technology, nano technology, and in renewable energy resources, the utilization, generation and utilization. In these areas, the students can do research. And I have seen many BTech engineers doing excellent research work and publishing their work in the reputed international journals. So if the students are interested, then they can start their research work from the BTech level, and they can continue it in it further. So that's all.
Thanks, sir. That means the career options to mechanical engineering graduates are wide and varied, or they may choose the career most relevant to their specialization and skills. Now, to Arindam, sir. Sir, can the students get into software-related companies after completing BTech in mechanical engineering?
Absolutely, why not? I mean, there are so many cases of students getting recruited into software companies, software giants such as Infosys, Wipro, I think Accenture, Capgemini. All these companies, all the software companies look for mechanical engineer. And people often have a one-directional thinking that mechanical engineers are not usually recruited in software companies. However, that's very wrong. The scope of mechanical engineer in a software company is also very huge, because in general, when a mechanical engineer passes out, he is actually quite flexible. I mean, the field is so flexible that the person can actually adapt into a lot of other sectors based on whatever input they are getting from the supposed student itself. And I mean, if you look, I will give you a very small example. Sir had mentioned a little before that there are softwares like AutoCAD, PDS, which is basically PDMS, basically a modeling software, PVA Lite, which is a calculating the pressure vessel software. All these softwares, these are actually designed by software professionals who were mechanical engineers. So in mechanical engineering, there are so many softwares that we use. The question usually becomes, who designs these kind of software? These are mechanical engineers who eventually went on to become software engineers and develop these kind of software to help the mechanical engineering in designing better and more, I think, comfortable and stronger equipments. So yes, definitely, it is. People have to know that mechanical engineers can get into software engineering, and it is a given. I mean, there are many software companies that actually recruit mechanical engineers just on the basis that they are mechanical engineers, because their input is very necessary.
Thank you.
Sir, Paladi sir, good evening. Actually, thank you for waiting on us. I think ma'am has actually has some internet issues. So I would like to ask you, Paladi sir,
Yes.
that what do you think is the scope of a mechanical engineer graduate in a private sector, in core engineering?
Okay. Actually, I was listening to the very, very good conversation between you and Roman sir and others. And I think everybody understands it's very clear discussion. So one thing I like to add first is that thank you very much for interacting with people, because after leaving the college, very unlikely that we interact with the youngsters. And second point is engineering, these 4 years of engineering will decide your maybe 30 years of your careers. So it is very important to understand how you utilize these 4 years and how you select a college, how you spend the time. Okay, that's very important. There are so many avenues, as Raman Sen says, sir says, also you also said. Now coming to this private sector. So now, if you look at this today's world, that is a government sector is basically not available. Everywhere if you see it is a private sector only. So private sector and all the big giant company, if you look at the world, all are basically private sector company. If you look at India, there are companies like L&T who actually manufacture equipment and they sell it to different clients. If we look at this Reliance, they're also big company, they also big plant, and they also recruit engineers. If you look at these international companies, say for example Shell or maybe ExxonMobil or maybe different other fields, if you get a power plant or all the different fields. So typically private sector company is much bigger in volume. They also very professional, and that's the point. So it's a very, and as also Arindam was saying, that mechanical engineers has versatility. So when people select engineers, their general affinity to select mechanical engineer, because they can work on various fields and various changing environment they can work with. So mechanical engineers is a big prospect when you are looking for the job after you complete your courses in your college. So the scope is there's a big scope for this.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Ma'am,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
I'm audible. Sir, Arindam, sir, do you want to like to add something more to it?
No, I think
Sir?
Paladi sir, yeah, Paladi sir has explained, I think, the basics, the nitty-gritties of private sectors. There are some very huge players, as sir had mentioned. I mean, companies like GE, Shell, and L&T, BHEL, these are like huge players. And these companies mainly recruit mechanical engineers, and not only recruit, but the job of these kind of engineers in the mechanical engineers in this kind of companies is to lead a project. They are the main leaders. They are not the followers of any projects inside. So the scope of mechanical engineer as a career building opportunity in these kind of companies are really huge. So yeah.
Thanks for the information, sir. Next to Arindam, sir. Sir, what kind of work does a consultancy company do, and what is the role of mechanical engineer in that?
I think the answer to this question is a little, not so short. I mean, I have to be precise in this. Mainly in the private sector for mechanical engineering, it's mainly divided into the main client company. I think Paladi sir, I think could explain more on this client company and the consultant companies. And apart from these companies, there are the companies which actually build the equipments known as the contractors. Then come the subcontractors and their subcontractors. So this is the hierarchy of the companies in the private sector. So usually the topmost companies are the client companies which actually build the plant, operate the plant, produce the goods, sell the goods, and then make profit out of it. Mechanical engineers are required in these kind of companies. Consultants like Paladi sir's, I think a company is also a kind of a consultant. So these kind of companies, consultants, they provide consultancy services to clients and also to the contractors. So mechanical engineers are required to that at that point of companies and at that point of project. And the contractors usually make the equipment. Normally, if you see any equipment, let us assume a fan. A fan is comprised of blades, the motor, and the spool pieces, right? I mean, so the fan company might not be manufacturing the motor. The motor has to be brought in from somewhere else, someone else, some other company. So the fan company will take on buy the motor from some other company. So there is a subcontractor. These are the subcontractor company. So this is the basic scenario of mechanical engineering in the private sector. So it's a huge field. I think a separate webinar on this should be suitable. For the moment, I think this is a much more briefer explanation that I can give. Palati sir, would you like to say something on this?
Yeah, Arindam, I think one more thing I like to highlight is that after 4 years of your college, you'll be more of a professional. Okay, your basic degree is BE mechanical or BTech mechanical, but you'll be a professional. And when you become professional of your mechanical field, but you're a kind of manager. So when you become manager, you have two responsibility. One is design responsibility, another is project management responsibility. Project management means when you are building a plant, it is not like keeping some equipment from here, some cable from there. Somebody to manage the project, complete the project is time. And for that, there are many project persons, there are some project managers, they manage the project. I tell you proudly that maybe more than 90% of the project managers, they are very respectable person, are from mechanical department.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
if you pass out from mechanical department, definitely you can contribute as in your technical field, as
Yes.
Ramin was saying, and Arindam sir was saying. But one point which you find is that, okay, you can continue working in a mechanical field, that is your core field, where you have studied for 4 years. But you can also change your line as a project management, and there you can find it more than, and I repeat again, are from mechanical department. So it is, your choice is yours, based on your attitude, based on your personality,
Yes.
based on your liking. The entire field belongs to you. You decide what you want to do.
Absolutely, sir. I mean,
You need to build your career, you build your personality. And I think what Ramin sir was saying, that mindset, that is a very important point, is 4 years.
yes.
Now you're a student. In 4 years, you need to evolve from just a student to a professional.
Yes, the discipline has to be built in the 4 years so that the student is now having all the tools to face in the professional life.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, and I think sir has also highlighted a beautiful point that normally most of the mechanical engineers reach the top post.
Yes. I tell you,
Thanks.
in L&T, the top person, Mr. Naik, is a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
Many fields, it is mechanical engineers going to the top.
Yeah. I am
And they are the.
absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Yes, please. Thank you.
So, thanks, sir. That means there's a high demand for mechanical engineering graduates, and they can choose to pursue their career in consultancy also.
Absolutely.
Now, to Paladhi, sir, how large the projects are in power plants or oil or gas or cement companies, and how much does a mechanical engineer contribute to it?
It's a very practical question. So it's very difficult to imagine the amount of money spent. So if I say one power plant of say 1000 megawatt, so the investment may be in the order of 8,000 to 10,000 crores. It's a huge money. And
Huge
this
amount of money
is controlled by mechanical engineer. Maybe some of you will controlling that amount of money. Please believe it. And also, it's a petrochemical plant. So I tell you one example. IOCL is building up a plant in East Coast. The total investment is around 46,000 crores of rupees. And there are several plants. And I tell you, sir, most of the project managers are from mechanical department, because mechanical department actually runs the project, they actually build the plans, and they actually
absolutely
money.
Yeah, from ground up.
And yes, from ground up.
Yeah.
So it's a big field, big money, and you will be the leader. So your skill, if you have and if you're interested in it, countless opportunities there for those cases. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
I
big.
think I think I can add a little bit to what Paladi sir said. I mean, for example, in case of a power plant, I mean, if a 500 megawatt plant is to be set up, uh, so per megawatt you can take around 5 crore rupees. So if a person if a company wants to make a 500 megawatt plant, that's 500 into 5. That's 2,500 crore rupees of investment just to make the plant. I think that's a huge amount. And the timeline, I mean, the project timeline is around 4 to 5 years, including design, manufacturing, commissioning, and erection. So a lot of mechanical engineers are needed, and the I mean the workload is huge. I mean, you have to work a lot, and for a fresher who goes into these kind of site engineering, I mean site, and face so much of new things, I think the exposure is amazing.
Thanks, sir. So we see that mechanical engineering graduates can also increase their employability in these areas. Now, once again to Palati sir, does a mechanical engineering graduate need to travel or work from office?
Well, it's a very important questions, and let's understand what mechanical engineer does. As I was saying in the beginning, mechanical engineer does everything. Okay, they does design, they manage the project, they manage the money, everything they does, and for that they need to go to site sometimes, or they maybe they put it at site to ensure that the plant is built as per specification in time, and it is managed. No cost overrun, no schedule overrun, everything they have to manage. So yes, and not only at site. Why on site? Suppose if you are purchasing one equipment, say from Spain, so periodically you have to go there to see the equipment is being built as per your requirement. You have to see before it is being dispatched that it is done as per your specification. So there are lots of inspectors who goes there, and believe me, most of the inspectors are from mechanical department. So if some of you who may be being inspector, and they will just roam around the world, wherever equipment is coming, you will visit it. And anybody who is there in the field must have lots of stamp on their passport. Everybody of us who has in this field visit a lot, not only from site, from vendor shop, and sometimes you have to attend visit another plant in the world, because sometimes some plants are being here for the first time. So yes, you have to travel a lot, and you need to prepare yourself for travel a lot.
Sir, I need to ask you one question regarding this. The products, but or the equipments installed in the plant, are they custom built, or are they always according to the manufacturer's standard?
Yes, is very important question. So in the plant, actually, there are different types of equipment. You can understand. There are some pressure vessel which is actually built from plates, different size of plates. So there are some equipment like pump. So there are two different types of equipment. In case of say pressure vessel, you build it. You can build it based on your requirement. You decide the diameter, you decide the configuration, you can build it custom build. But if you're purchasing an equipment, say pump or compressor, a manufacturer cannot make thousands of different models. What they do, they make maybe a different model which can operate in a certain range. So there, most of the time, you have to select the equipment which is falling within this particular range. You have to select the equipment accordingly. So it is a mixed. Some equipments are tailor-made, some equipments are already available. You have to only take it and then fine-tune it to meet your requirement.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Also, please.
Thanks, sir. Now, Orindam sir, can you explain the need of a specialization for a mechanical engineering graduate?
Okay, this is a very important question with regards to the people who are passing out, just who are just new graduates in mechanical engineering. Now, there are two kinds of procedure you can follow. That is, one is that after you pass out a mechanical engineering, you can go into the company and get into the company as a GET, graduate engineering trainee. Or what you can do is that you can study some specific field with regards to the industry. So industry demands some specialization. So some of the students who have just passed out can actually go in and study for 1 year or a 6 months course to get specialized training on that particular subject. So normally what happens is if you are not a project engineer or if you're not in a package engineer, what happens is you are actually given a very small module of the total plant. And what happens is you, after working and working, you become an expert. So what if that person who has just passed out gets some amount of knowledge beforehand? So that kind of courses are also very present. Like in Mumbai itself, there is so many courses on piping engineering. Piping engineering is then divided into three more parts. I think one is layout, the other is metallurgy, and the third is stress analysis. If the person wants to study on static equipment such as pressure vessels, there are courses where you can be taught on pressure vessels. So what happens is these are courses after graduation, not before graduation. The basic is the first 4 years of mechanical engineering, where all the basics which is required to be in the industry are cleared. Only after that you can actually go ahead and do these kind of courses. Yeah. So the initial part is that we need to understand that for us to get inside a specialized field, we need to understand mechanical engineering first, because stress analysis or designing of pressure vessels, everything is, for example, designing a pressure vessel, it is entirely related with the subject called strength of materials. Von Mises theorem, everything, all sorts of formulas are derived from there. Stress analysis has again been derived from thermodynamics, strength of materials. So these are the subjects which are being taught in mechanical engineering. Only after that you get into that postgraduate specialization courses in industrial field.
Thanks, sir. I'm sure the students understood the basics of this. Now, over to Raman, sir. Sir, are private colleges good enough to pursue mechanical engineering?
It is a
Over
I think
to
it is a good
Raman, sir.
question for a beginner. The student. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello. Yes,
Ma'am,
you are
can you
audible.
hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it is a good question for a beginner. The students who are going to join the engineering courses this year or in near future, it is a good question for them. I believe that the private colleges are good enough to pursue mechanical engineering course. Every year, thousands of mechanical engineers are being graduated from the private colleges across the country, and the students are doing really well. They are doing good jobs in reputed industries of the country. Many students are going for warm-ups or higher studies. So comparing, but you need to understand that whether it is a government college or a private college across the country, you need to follow the same curriculum, same syllabus as prescribed by AICTE. So the student can get same education from the private college or the government college. So those students who will secure good rank in joint entrance examination, they can join government colleges. But those students who will study in the private college, I don't think they need to worry, because the private colleges have good infrastructure. Many colleges have NAC or NBA accreditation. They have the proper infrastructure. That's why they are getting these accreditations. And some important factors are also there. You need to consider that one-to-one mentoring, special care from the teachers, you will only get in the private colleges. So I feel that the private colleges are good enough for studying mechanical engineering.
I think I would like to add to this that when a company calls for an interview for mechanical engineering, the first and foremost, one of the main important things which they look at is the student itself, the student himself or herself. I mean, how the student behavior is the student well informed about the latest technologies or the sort of the knowledgeable about the basics of engineering itself, the attitude, the sincerity, whether the student will follow a particular job when it is being given to that person or not, whether the student will do the job properly or not. These are some of the very important qualities. Now, that does not mean that only the students getting in government colleges will have those kind of qualities. I mean, there are so many cases. I mean, so many students who are in who passed out from private engineering colleges and are in excellent companies, and their record is amazing. So this kind of a one-track mentality should be also, this kind of misconception should also not be there, that only government colleges are the best. I mean, private colleges, some of the private colleges actually teach students a lot.
Yes.
Can I add something here?
Yeah, Pallavi sir.
Actually, it is a
Yes, sir, sure.
to share with you.
Sir, can you talk a little louder?
Yeah, I passed out from government college, okay, but my son is in private college. Why I put my son in private college is that government college is basically already they have a big reputation, but their teaching standard and their other facilities, because nowadays it is not that the age-old style of teaching is good enough. Now these private colleges, they have better infrastructure, they knows how, and they always upgrade themselves. So that's why in today's world, please select private college, because they are now better and they are keeping the students, they are updating the student with the best latest technology, they are encouraging them and they are preparing them for the future in a better than as a government college, because they already have the reputation, they don't need to build their own reputation again. So private college, I think, is a better position at this point of time. I agree with you.
Thank you, sir. So now to Raman sir. Sir, why should one select Omdal Group of Institutions for studying BTech?
I feel the students the students need to finalize the discipline that is based on their choice, their interest, and thereafter you need to visit the college where you want to study. If we come to Omdal Group of Institutions in mechanical engineering discipline, then I must say the department is equipped in such a way that it can meet all the need of the degree of mechanical engineering as per the guidelines of AICTE and Macau. So the department has good faculty members from academic and industrial background. The department has about 15 labs. All the labs are equipped with sophisticated equipment to provide the students practical exposure. The department provides other facilities also. The department conducts different kind of co-curricular activities around the year. The department interns students. So department cares about their student. So that's why I suggest the students they can take admission in mechanical engineering at Omdal Group of Institution.
Yeah, I think the one-on-one interaction with the student and the one-on-one mentorship the student gets is quite amazing in our college. Plus, the infrastructure is really really amazing. So along with a great mechanical engineering group, we have so many qualified and distinguished and excellent professors that I think it is a very good opportunity for the students to join this college itself. Yeah.
Thanks, sir. I think this information will be very much important for the students who are going to take admission this year to BTech in mechanical engineering or in any other streams. Now to Pallavi sir. Sir, what are the career aspects or job opportunities waiting for mechanical engineering graduates during post-pandemic situation? Over to Pallavi sir.
Oh, it's a very difficult question actually. What will happen after this so-called corona and when? Uh, Before that, I like to tell you why mechanical, why not other department. Okay, it's not that because I am mechanical, I am telling you to join mechanical. Please don't listen to me. Just judge yourself. We do not know after 20 years which discipline will be there. Whether computer science will be there or something else. We do not know after 30 years which discipline will be there or which discipline will be the number one. But what I can tell you, mechanical engineers can always survive. Irrespective of which one is number one, which one is number two, mechanical engineer can always change themselves based on the requirement and can survive, irrespective of situation. Now coming to your question, Srikanna madam, about what will happen after this post-COVID situation. I personally believe it is a temporary phase. It happens, maybe it didn't happen for quite long time. Maybe most of us has not seen such kind of situation. But if you look at the history, it happens. And during this time, it will be a tough time. But when it will be over, there will be huge demand in the market. Everybody will be, because typically,
Absolutely, yes.
after any such kind of stagnation time or so-called time is when the growth is slow, it is always followed by a big boom. So probably the people who will be joining here first time, you will be coming out after 4 years, and that may be the peak time and peak demand time at the time, because it may be over in 6 months or 1 year or so. And it can never be for a long time. And every time after, if you look at history, whenever there is some downtime, uptime is just around the corner. It happens. It has to happen. It will happen again. And that's why I tell you, I'm dealing with so many projects in India, in oil industry and other industries. None of the project has been cancelled. Okay, there may be some or something, but nobody has cancelled any projects. What happened now, because of some different issues or something, some project cannot go ahead because of some different reasons. But they're waiting for the opportunity when everything will be fine. They will again restart the project. At that time, big boom is just will expect will come. And I believe it, and you will see in coming years how the economy will grow in not only in India, in all over the world. There will be huge demand. So there is no need to be worried about this COVID situation. And we just slowly go away, and big opportunity will come in near future.
Yes. I think, sir, it's a wonderful answer. I'd like to add a little bit for the students who are in first year, second year, or would be joining mechanical engineering. Please look at the future about 4 years later, because not a single field, be it be mechanical, be it be civil, every field goes through ups and downs. However, for the last 250 years, it's been seen that mechanical engineering is the only field which is being stable all through round. I mean, look at the very simple fact that for your vehicle you need oil, for your home you need electricity. Who is going to provide this? The basic design engineering, the basic engineering for this kind of things is done by mechanical engineers. The basic, basic utilities such as water, or say the power which is coming to your own house, who is going to give you that? It's the mechanical engineers. So it's always going to be there. The pandemic may go. It does after 1 year it might go, but as Paladi sir said, it's going to boom again.
Thanks, sir. Sir, now we'll go to the question answer round. We have some questions from the audiences. One question is that, can a mechanical engineer get administrative job? Raman sir, if you could answer this.
Uh, uh, yes, there is a scope. The students can get the administrative job after completing BTech. The students can appear in Indian Administrative Service. So the scope is there in different sectors. The administrative jobs are available, and they basically look in that field. Basically, the students' leadership quality and the analytical skills are very important. The scope is there, though. So the students, if they can build themselves, then they can join the administrative jobs as well.
Thanks, sir. Now
If
there is another question.
Paladi sir, would you like to please add something in private industries? Is there any for administrative jobs for mechanical engineers?
Yeah, Raman sir, thank you. Actually, I'm little doubtful about what is the meaning of administrative job. So if Prime Minister is administrative, then it is a very big job. So administration, everybody, every engineer, after 20 years of service, nobody wants to do on a paperwork job after 20 years. Everybody will become manager if they have the capability. And when somebody become manager, some activity is also administrative activity. So there is no exception that a mechanical engineer, why they can, everybody, as Mr. Raman sir said that he can go directly to IAS and go administrative service. But even if you join any company, then after some years, if you have the capability and if you have the proper, you understand the job, you will become manager, and part of your managerial activity is administrative activity. Administration is very, very important. Unless some company, whatever company, whichever company you say, how much product they make, whatever may be the their value or what the cash reach they have, if administration is not correct, company cannot survive. We can see lots of companies which is just closing down because their administration is not good. What mechanical engineers advantage that before joining the administration role, they know how the plant is running. So it has a added advantage for the mechanical engineers that they understand the job, and when they become the administrator, they know how it happens, how it is done. So there is a very big possibility that a mechanical engineer, when they become administrator or manager, the job, they can do the job better than anybody else. Yeah.
Thanks, sir. Next, we have another question. Can you please let us know any cutoff marks is required in joint entrance examination to take admission in mechanical engineering? Raman sir?
Oh, I already explained this question that no such cutoff marks is there. Only fulfill the criteria what I have already mentioned, that you need to clear the West Bengal Joint Entrance Examination or JEE Main, and you need to secure 45% marks in aggregate in physics, chemistry, mathematics at the higher secondary level, and that is the criteria you need to fulfill. Or no other cutoff marks is there.
Thanks, Raman sir. Now to Arindam sir. Sir, after graduation, which one is better, job or higher education? This is another question from the audience.
Yeah. Okay. It entirely depends on the student. I mean, if the student is interested in going into higher studies, definitely it is good. Higher studies is always recommended. And if the student does not want to continue with studies, the student can actually go into industry. And what happens is sometimes that a lot of students, they do not have the financial capability to continue postgraduate studies. So what they do is they get into the job, get some savings, and then get into studies again. That is also possible. So it entirely depends on student. Current scenario, I think at present for this year it is better. It's a matter of opinion. For the current scenario, my opinion is that you go for higher studies. However, it entirely depends on a few aspects of the student. One, whether the student himself or herself wants to do it. Second, the financial capabilities of the student. And the third, the intention, whether the student wants to study or not and go into higher studies. At present, definitely it is a good recommendation. In future, this might change if the job scenario is again, in the post-pandemic era, if there is a boom, I think job is a better option.
Thanks, sir. Now to Palathi, sir. Sir, do mechanical engineers play an important role in automobile industry?
Absolutely.
Oh, I think whoever asked the question loves cars. It's good. So if we look at automobile industries, there are different aspects of automobile industries. One is who designs the automobiles. Another part is who manufactures the automobile. There are two parts. And even though if you may find that there are some automobile engineering discipline happening in some of the institutions, but believe me, mechanical engineering, they also study automobiles as part of their curriculum, and most of the companies, automobile that engineers, they join the automobile industry. And if you look at any automobile industry, majority of engineers are mechanical engineers. It depends on your inclination, because if you love car, you should join automobile industry. Okay, if you love it, you should only join there, okay? Because you should love your job. If you are maybe you understand, okay, I want a big car, I want maybe 1,000 Newton meter of torque and power, maybe 2,000 horsepower, something. If you love this number, yes, automobile industry is for you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you should join it. You have ample opportunity and you can do it. It is an interesting question.
Thanks, sir. Looks like we have answered all your questions. I would like to thank all the distinguished speakers for sharing their valuable information clearly, which I'm sure benefited the students greatly. Thank you for participating in today's webinar. We hope to see you again next time. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.